it looks like the Boogeyman Mason Greenwood is finally coming out to play.
I'm the Boogeyman, and I'm coming to get you!
You are now listening to Pree Da Production with your host, Majaro.
What is up, my tribal people? Welcome back to the Pree Da Production YouTube channel. I'm your host, Majaro, aka Midge. And let's just get straight into it. If you've been living on the rock for the past 24 to 48 hours, Manchester United have released a statement regarding Mason Greenwood and his potential return to playing for Manchester United. Let's do a quick summary of the whole situation. Video and photographic evidence were released online regarding his girlfriend and him allegedly forcing himself on her. There were videos of the alleged aftermath of the physical abuse. There were pictures of bruises and blood, and a voice note of Mason Greenwood potentially, allegedly, possibly being involved in rape. After that, he was arrested and subsequently charged. However, 6 months go on and the charges are dropped. Prosecution is unable to take it further than the initial arrest and charge due to witness non-cooperation. So that was back in February 2023. We are now in August 2023, and Manchester United have held the stance of we are investigating, we are doing our due diligence, we are taking all aspects of the case, the evidence in public, as well as evidence that have been sourced by them that are not available to the public. And for months, we've seen teasers on teasers of, Mason Greenwood in the park training, Mason Greenwood allegedly speaking to the manager. Mason Greenwood is making a comeback. Oh, here's Mason Greenwood out with his missus public. There's stories of Mason Greenwood having a child. There's Mason Greenwood allegedly becoming a married man now. And at the time of the news breaking, I held the stance of he should not play for Manchester United. He should not represent Manchester United because of the values I believe Manchester United to hold in terms of integrity. However, I didn't say he shouldn't play football again. I just believed it shouldn't be for Manchester United. I said we should sell him or, pay off his contract and he can be a free agent and go his own way, and someone else can take him and they can play him. Subsequently, we have heard murmurs of Manchester United speaking to the women's team, speaking to sponsors, speaking to the alleged victim, speaking to all parties involved so that they can make the right decision or make the best decision possible. And earlier this week, The Athletic broke the story that, the chief executive, Richard Arnold, had already informed senior members of Manchester United that they'll be looking at a roadmap into reintroducing Mason Greenwood into the Manchester United squad. Manchester United got a hold of that and they decided to release an official statement stating that a decision's not made yet, but we are in the process of finalising a decision. Let's just read the statement real quick. Following the dropping of all charges against Mason Greenwood in February 2023, Manchester United has conducted a thorough investigation into the allegations made against him. This has drawn on extensive evidence and context not in the public domain, and we have heard from numerous people with direct involvement or knowledge of the case. Throughout this process, the welfare and perspective of the alleged victim has been central to the club's inquiries, and we respect her right to lifelong anonymity. We also have responsibility to Mason as an employee, as a young person who has been with the club since the age of 7, and as a new father with a partner. The fact-finding phase of our investigation is now complete, and we are in the final stages of making a decision on Mason's future. Contrary to media speculation, the decision has not yet been made and is currently the subject of intense deliberation. Responsibility ultimately rests with the Chief Executive Officer, Once made, the decision will be communicated and explained to the club's internal and external stakeholders. This has been a difficult case for everyone associated with Manchester United, and we understand the strong opinions it has provoked based on the partial evidence in the public domain. We ask for patience as we work through the final stages of this carefully considered process. That is basically code for we know stuff you man don't. We have a duty of care. We've taken the alleged victims' thoughts and opinions into heavy consideration, and we will make a decision soon. Even though we've probably made the decision already. Because, let's be honest, if Manchester United was going to release him, they would have been done that. As soon as he was charged, they would have been like, yo, we don't stand for that. We'll pay off your contract. If they wanted to release him, they would have sold him at the start of the window. Right? So let's not act like Manchester United haven't had 2 years to come to this decision whether they were going to keep him or they were going to sell him or part ways. At this point, it's gone on long enough for us to assume, based on all the evidence, all the teasers, all the murmurs, all the headlines of Mason Greenwood's planning on return, Mason Greenwood's training here, Mason Greenwood's out here, he's keeping fit, he's keeping in contact with the club, X, Y, and Z. And let's just look at the reasons why Manchester United would want to keep a player like Mason Greenwood. First of all, let's talk about the financial reasons. He has 2 years left on his contract. He's being paid, I think, $75,000 a week by Manchester United throughout all these allegations. So for him to get bought out, they would need to pay him something between 7.8 to 8 million pounds, and Manchester United doesn't want to pay that money. Second financial reason would be, as a football player, he is very talented. There's no doubt about Mason Greenwood's talent. There were times during last season as I was thinking, I'm not gonna lie, if Mason Greenwood was still in the squad, instead of Workhorse playing through the middle, instead of Rashford having to squeeze him through as a striker, instead of Martial being injured, we could have Mason Greenwood bagging goals. That's honestly, sometimes I thought that. I was like, oh, if Mason Greenwood didn't do what he did, this would be his time. And that just speaks to his talent as a footballer. And his talent is arguably in this market worth at least 100 million. If we paid 75 million for Rasmus Højlund, who scored 9 goals in his debut season, however, Mason Greenwood scored, I think, 15 goals in his, and he was younger, and he'd never played professional football on that level at Manchester United before, he would at least be 100 million, possibly 150 million, because he's so young and the talent speaks for himself. Right. So if Mason Greenwood wasn't this talented player, he would have been gone. If this was, I don't know, a reserve keeper who was involved in these allegations, he would have been gone. Like that. But because of his talent, and his talent is worth so much, Manchester United can't let him go and then a rival or Lazio pick him up for free, and then he goes on to break records and becomes quote unquote the next best thing. Some people will be looking at Manchester United saying, yo, you should have took a chance on him. You know, if he was able to go to Lazio in Italy or go to another place in Germany and play well, he could have done that for you guys. How you guys messed up. He wasn't found guilty, X, Y, and Z. Right. So those are the two financial reasons why Manchester United wouldn't want to let go of him, because it costs money to let go of him, and potentially we could have £100 million player on our hands that would just give into another club. Second of all, there's the legal reasons, right? He wasn't convicted of anything. He was only charged. That doesn't mean he was innocent. For those people who are saying, he's innocent, he did no wrong. But at the same time, that does not make him guilty of what he allegedly did. There's this middle ground where he just wasn't charged. or he just wasn't tried. He just wasn't tried, so we don't know. I can't say he definitely do it. You guys can't say he definitely do it. We went there, so legally speaking, he's done quote unquote nothing wrong. So there's that legal reason. They can't just say, oh, you did X, Y, and Z when he's not been tried and convicted. They can't just fire him. They just can't just fire him, because that'll be a whole nother legal case that Mason Greenwood's representative would have a case to fight and could definitely claim damages if they said, you know, we're going to fire you because X, Y, and Z. They could definitely take it to court for wrongful termination without a payout, right? And let's be honest, Mason Greenwood would have to agree to be paid out. Otherwise, he can just stay as a Manchester United player, getting paid a weekly wage, potentially not play, but still get paid to not play, but there's talent there. So that thing would have needed a whole negotiation, and it would have been on Mason Greenwood to be like, yes, I'm accepting my quote unquote punishment, and I will leave Manchester United. But he's not going to do that, is he? And there's also the various moral aspects of this, right? You know, he's still with the alleged victim. They are, you know, they've reconciled allegedly. They are on great terms. They have a beautiful baby daughter that have recently been born. They are planning to get married. You could argue that, you know, he's been, you know, he's showing signs of rehabilitation. He's, you know, reconciled. He's trying to be a better person. You could argue that these things might be happening behind closed doors that we are not privy to. There is so much around this situation that Manchester United don't need. And what example does this set to other victims that have been in this situation? There are going to be people saying, you know, the alleged victim has taken him back. Who are we to decide whether he should play for Manchester United or not? If she can take him back and they can be together again, why can't we allow him to, you know, provide for his family at the highest level and earn as much money as possible playing for Manchester United? You know, there's been loads of sports stars who have been in controversies like this and allegations been thrown around, and some even tried and some even convicted and have come back and played. Maybe not for the same team, because a lot of time would have passed for that whole thing to go around, that whole trial and prosecution and conviction and jail time, but they were able to come back and make a career for themselves. Why can't Mason Greenwood, without being tried, without being convicted and sentenced, why can't he come straight back and pick up where he left off? You know, they're back together. Who are we to decide? We're not God. And that's a fair argument. However, I heard and saw those videos and listened to that voice note, and I just don't support it. So I'm not going to be a hypocrite and sit here and say if Mason Greenwood comes on and scores a 90-minute winner, I'm not going to celebrate because I'm a football fan. I'm going to celebrate my team scoring a goal and getting 3 points. I'm not going to celebrate Mason Greenwood. I'm going to celebrate Manchester United. And it's just one of those topics that, you know, can be very triggering. And let me be clear, I don't support anything that Mason Greenwood has done, just to make that very, very clear. But we know how society is. People say they've got morals. We had the World Cup in Qatar, and that went off without major hitch, and the whole world moved on. So my prediction is Mason Greenwood will come back to Manchester United, and he's going to get stick from rivals. He's going to get stick from a lot of the fan base. People aren't going to be with it. But when he scores, the people who are against him might be cheering because Manchester United scored, but they won't be cheering because Mason Greenwood was the one who scored. And there's going to be a lot of people who just, you know, support him, because we've already seen the Instagram accounts, the Twitter accounts backing him saying, Mason, come back, we need Mason, we need money, Mason, X, Y, and Z. So he already has a large following, because I went on Twitter the other day just to see what was going after this announcement, and you just had World War V, because if anyone talked, ill on Mason Greenwood and said what he did was, despicable and he shouldn't never play, you had 1,000 people replying saying, X, Y, and Z, were you there, this, that, and the third, why are you stopping him from, providing for his family? So everyone's got a argument regarding should he play, should he not play, and most of them are valid. So it's one of those moral paradox. Do you believe in rehabilitation or redemption and people changing their ways and becoming a better person because of their experience? And this would change him, because I don't believe he would be stupid enough to do anything like this again. At least I would hope. To anyone, right? And there's the other side where, this is so abhorrent, we should never accept it, because by bringing him back into Manchester United, that is accepting what he did, and that is basically co-signing it, some people will say. But let me know in the comments below what you guys think on the situation. Do you think Mason Greenwood should be given another chance at Manchester United, or do you think we should write him off and we should send him to Uzbekistan or Kazakhstan, somewhere in the far reaches of the world where he can play football and get paid for that over there and out of sight, out of mind? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
I be kidding on my foes, even though I got it all on my own. Success sweet, yeah, it tastes like